Hi, my name is Rich Hunt, Senior Product Manager and Technical Marketing Engineer for Extreme Networks on applications and wireless. Today, we're going to talk about a new platform that we're releasing with Extreme Cloud IQ called Essentials. When we talk about how cloud and the system is operating, we're focusing more on infrastructure and devices currently. So ML, AI, what's going on with your system, what's going on with the network. But where we're migrating to now is into the experience and the insights. So we want to know how easy is it to deploy devices now that these devices aren't just handheld or employee laptops, for example. Now we're getting into IoT, smart devices, sensors, that sort of platform. So we need to find a better way and an easier way to manage this. How do we do this, and how are we going to release this? As a part of the experience, part of it is security. If you get a breach or a hack, it's not going to be a good experience to you, your network, your customers. So we're releasing a security platform that is going to help protect your network above and beyond anybody else in the industry. The next part to that is guest experience. So guest services have increased and gotten far more advanced than just a standard splash page. So setting up multiple SSIDs across the world just to handle specific splash just isn't cutting it anymore. So the way that we're releasing things and the way that we're going to move forward is that we're going to provide the ability to manage multiple splash pages, different types of advanced onboarding, in order to get that guest experience a lot smoother for both your users and for your administrators. Then we have location services. So we need to know what foot traffic is doing, how long are people staying, what kind of benefits to our platform can we get, leveraging the technology and the beacons in an environment like a store, for example, and shoppers, or if we want to do asset tracking and we want to make sure that specific carts don't leave certain areas in healthcare. And we have network access control, so a more advanced way to onboard your employees to make sure that their devices are where they should be. And if not, then isolating and managing and controlling all of that information and traffic. Then we have IoT, which is a little bit new coming out. So all of these IT devices, from kiosks to cameras to headless devices, and the people that install them, when we talk about lighting or HVAC systems, for example, how do we get these on board? It's very taxing on IT personnel, so we have a solution for that. And then, of course, the analytics to pull it all together. Is it all working? How is it working? Are there areas for improvement? When we pull all of that together, you're going to see that it does look very complicated. So in this slide, what we're showing here is that there are a lot of devices. It is very complicated, but we can simplify it, and we can simplify it with our essentials. So what we're seeing here is in the experience area, we have everything from the laptops to mobile devices, to guest devices, to employees, to cameras, to watches, to HVAC, and so on. And so each one of these devices has a unique scenario for onboarding into the system. And then as we move up in the chain here, we have our infrastructure, which everybody is familiar with, so our APs and our switches, ML, AI, and all of the information behind that infrastructure. And then we have the applications. Now, typically, these applications reside in multiple areas in different places, and we got to pull them all together. So what we're doing is we're creating Essentials. So Essentials is on our pilot program, and it's free. So we're going to start with the security aspect. Extreme Networks, we have AirDefense, and AirDefense is a very mature, secure product. It's been around, and a little bit of the history for it is that it was the first in the industry to offer 24/7 wireless intrusion. We have a threat database of over 300 signatures. We have advanced forensics, which records 325 fields per device per minute. So you can go back historically and look at what's going on, either from a troubleshooting standpoint or even from a security standpoint. And then we have live view as well with this, where you have the ability to see what a device is doing in real time, but not only from wireless and that sort of thing, but also from what is it talking to on your network, what servers is it connecting to. And then we have the standards, the auto terminations and ACLs and an extensive set of rules and reporting that will allow you to automate and customize your security. So what we've done is we've taken AirDefense and we're taking the essentials of AirDefense, the essential threats, and we're including them into the Pilot subscription. So those that are subscribed to Pilot at no extra charge, you're going to start seeing these applications roll out starting September, and starting with AirDefense. So we're going to have some of our key threats out of AirDefense, and it's cloudified. So the difference between leveraging an on-prem solution and a cloudified solution is if a threat were to come out tomorrow, then we can include that threat in AirDefense Essentials at no extra cost to Pilot subscribers, and now you're protected against that threat without doing any system upgrades. And with this, and I'll do a demo and you'll see this, but with this, you're going to see detailed reporting, the ability to get to filter in and drill in, and we also have the ability to generate visuals so that you can see things a little bit easier without having to go through a lot of overloaded information to find security threats. So to give you an idea of some of the signatures that we're looking at, these are some of the signatures that we've pulled out of our AirDefense Enterprise and brought into the Essentials. So as you can see, it's not just basic rogue detection, it's further security. Most of the free WIPS platforms that are out there today are just protecting you or keeping you within PCI compliance. What we're doing is we're going above and beyond just this PCI compliance or HIPAA compliance, or any type of compliancy really in WIPS, and we're actually going to protect your network against some of the most common threats that are out there. The next to that is the Guest Essentials. So when I spoke about Guest earlier, it is becoming more and more complicated, and there are many different ways to bring on users onto your network. The old way would just be leave an open SSID, splash page, or a captive portal, something like that. And you get on. Now, if you have a captive portal, is it just terms and conditions, or are you asking reception to create a username and a password for somebody to log on? So what Guest Essentials allows you to do is provide multiple ways on same SSIDs to get people access. For example, sponsored guest access. You have somebody come and visit you, you're in an office downtown, they connect to the guest network, they put your email address in, and you hit approve, and now they're on the network. So you're not giving free internet to the apartment building next to you. Other advantages to this would be the ability to manage multiple splash pages in different languages on a same guest SSID across the globe. So it's not just a splash page management tool. What you're going to see here is you're going to see things like policy enforcement. So you can have users get specific bandwidth, VLANs, and all sorts of role-based policy onboards. You're going to get the industry standards or the industry leading analytics to see what those guest users are doing. You can provide the retail environment, for example, where you're going to get social media login. And once you start getting into social media login, you'll be able to track demographics like age and gender, that sort of thing, to get a better feel of who your guest users are, depending on how you want to do it. And then we have the notifications and the guest user provisioning. So do you want reception to be able to provision guest access? Yes or no? Not a problem. You have the ability to create these portals for guest operator or the guest network operator to log into. Once you have your security down and you have your advanced guest management happening, you want to start looking at some of the insights. What's going on in the network? So we have analytics coming off of your security. We have analytics coming off of your guest network. And now what we're going to do is we're going to be able to tell you what's going on as far as foot traffic. So in the past and almost up to date, typical location analytics in any platform has been new users, return users, and dwell time, how long they've been there. What sets us apart from competition in both the networking world and in the location analytics world is that out of the box, we have a solution you can use. So we have extensive dashboards that will tell you if they were inside bounced, if the user was going from one category to another, for example, like flow. So we can look at the flow that's going on inside a building. But on top of that, we're going to use our location engine for tracking BLE. So you can use it as an asset tracker, generate alarms if a cart leaves a specific area, for example. There's no third-party integration in order to have this happen with Location Essentials. And it's included with the pilot subscription. So all you have to do is subscribe and enable it, and now you're starting to use all of these location analytics. If you want to go further than that, and you don't want to use what's out of the box, we still supply the APIs and the feeds for you to join in with third parties and get something a little bit more specific. So if you had 1,500 stores and you were going to do wayfinding, you needed to upload your planograms. Well, there are specific companies out there that can integrate using the APIs, the webhooks, and so on to make that happen very easy for you. But you don't have to have that third party if you want to get the insights as to what's going on from a location analytics point of view. Once you start onboarding guest devices, so we talked about bringing on guests, and we're tracking and we're looking at guest networks, there's HVACs, there's lighting, there's a whole slew of IoT devices. And there's a couple of issues wrapped around IoT that we solve using Extreme IoT, which again is another product that's included with the pilot license. So one of the main issues here that we're pointing out is that most IoT devices are a huge security risk. And so they're not updated. People aren't going in, they're not updating the firmware all the time. New hacks, new cracks all come out and nobody's fixing those. So we've created the ability to apply template roles. So IT can go in, create a role, and call it a template, like lighting, for example. And then there's a separate screen that a provisioner, somebody who's going in to install the lighting, can just go in and apply that template to that IoT device. And now that IoT device is only allowed to speak to whatever you tell it it's allowed to speak to, applying the ACLs, bandwidth, whatever it is that you want to do to ensure that that IoT device is locked down. But also IoT does not have to be there in order to provision and give access and wait for MAC address information, that sort of thing, to have it happen. So it's a very smooth way to onboard and protect your IoT devices. So some of those ways that we could do it is you can look at how each dynamic VLANs and how that works, but also you have an access point that you can plug in that has multiple ports, and you can use this access point as an inline protection device. So you can use either the wireless aspect to serve clients or to serve your IoT devices, or you can use the switch ports and plug directly in and protect it. Now, what makes this really unique is that you can actually plug these devices in as an overlay to a third-party network and run it off of Pilot and Extreme Cloud IQ, and then you can still protect your devices. It doesn't have to be a part of your client serving network. It could be an IoT serving network. It could just be an inline product or a platform that you're going to plug in Ethernet ports, like fusion pumps, for example. So I'm going to plug a fusion pump into it, and I'm going to manage it all from Extreme IoT, but I don't have an Extreme network at the time. And that is something that you can do. So that's our Essentials platform. But what if you don't want to use cloud, or you want something with a little bit more power to it? So we have our enterprise applications as well. And the way our enterprise applications work is we have our enterprise engine, which we're going to have a container appliance. So we're running Kubernetes. It's a container appliance which allows you to install different applications depending on what it is that you choose or what you want. So you could have XIQ or Extreme Cloud IQ locally installed instead of having it up in the cloud. You can install Extreme Location Engine for advanced third-party integration, like wayfinding, for example. So scan times and response times will be much faster on the on-prem aspect of it than you would be leveraging the cloud. So if you require a more advanced platform for it, this is the enterprise engine is where you can do this. This is also where you would want to host your NAC or the Extreme AirDefense Enterprise when you want to leverage those tools. And what that allows you to do is get access to your east-west traffic. So you don't want to expose your security platforms out to the internet or out to the cloud. So you're going to use that that on-prem solution for all of that traffic to be able to happen. And now we're going to go to a demo. So we're going to log into Extreme Cloud IQ, and this is an account with a pilot access or a pilot license. And what you're going to see now is down on the left-hand side in the menu, we're going to open this up, and you're going to start to see all of these applications show up for you. So here's Extreme AirDefense, Extreme Guest, and Extreme Location, as I mentioned in our presentation. So the first thing we're going to run through here is Extreme AirDefense. We're going to click and we're greeted by a typical dashboard. So we're going to see, for example, a possibility of where, which location has the most amount of threats, for example. So from a graphical point of view, we can actually see what's going on with our locations. We can look at what our alarm counts are, as well as what's active and what's not active. And we're gonna dive deeper into that in a second. Now we have all of these different alarms, and then we have the ability to take a look and drill into what's going on here. For example, there's your rogue activity, and then we could tie in and we can see which ones are client events and which ones are not. And then we can back out of that by navigating through the bar at the bottom. Now, if we want to dive deeper and we want to take a look, we can go into more insights. So I'm going to click onto these insights, and what I'm going to see is, again, I'm greeted by this bar at the top, which is going to give me some more information on my alarms. I can expand through and look at more widgets that are up here. And then I'm going to scroll down, I'm going to take a look. So we're sitting in active alarms right now. So you can see up here in the right corner, we have live and we have expired. So we're going to take a look, and let's say we notice we have a DOS deauthentication. So what is that? So we're going to click on that, and what you're going to see is a bit more of this alarm history. Is it inactive? Has it been cleared? What's going on with it? We could clear it here if we need to. But what does it mean? Well, we can go into help, and it'll give us a description of the alarm. It's going to help us figure out what we need to do. So how do we investigate? And then how do we mitigate this alarm as well? So you're getting the alarm and you're getting instruction on how to handle and lock down your system and to control. Now, if you need to, for example, we have our rogue APs, and this is going to talk about what's going on as well, where it was reported by. Now, we can go back and we can also look at previous. So we can look at expired alarms. So we scroll up and we get our timeline. And we can go back, take a look, and we can just kind of see what's going on with our activity on our alarms. And then again, we can go back and look at what our expired alarms are, and we can also drill into that and get more alarm actions and find out what we need to do to support this, situation. As we go through, obviously we're going to be adding more, and we will grow as time goes on. Next to that was Extreme Guest. So we talked about this as well. So when you first log on, you can see some of your information. So we're going to see our social media login. We're going to see total users, repeat users, and you can, it's a very interactive dashboard that you can use just to drill in and see what's going on. We can look at dwell time. So how often are they actually using that guest network? So I come in, I connect. How long am I dwelling on that network for? And you can get your metrics like visitors, new users, gender, age, that sort of thing. Now we can go back and we can go into it. We could drill in with more insights. And this is where we're going to do some of our configuration as well. These are dashboards. We can create custom dashboards, so you can add more visibility, customize that visibility for yourself, and then you can use that for reporting as well. Also, these are where you would go in and create all of your policies. And like I mentioned, there's role-based policies where you can select and say that a certain device gets specific VLAN, or it gets bandwidth, or ACLs applied to it, that sort of thing. One of the things that I did mention that I want to stress as well is that you can actually develop and design your own splash templates here in the screen. You don't have to download it and then re-upload it into the system. You can work with it here. Then we have our onboarding policy and rules and devices. So you can go in and you can take a look, and you can download your endpoints and your information. So for the users that connect, you can go in and take a look and download that information as well. And then last but not least, we have our extreme location that we're going to show you. So with the extreme location, this is our platform that leverages the 802.11 and the BLE for tracking. So we might want to look at loyalty, repeat visitors, new users. And so we're greeted by this dashboard, which is giving us most of that information. But again, we have more insights. So we're going to drill into that. And now we have the ability to take a look and see what's going on. So we can take a look at what's going on with our floors. We can drill in for dashboards, for example. So if we want to see what's going on here, we can see if we have any guest visitors. So currently on this system, we're not showing any, but you will see visitors and that sort of data showing up. We do have the ability to group associates, for example, or assets by either SSID they connect to or by the amount of time that they're being seen for. Now we'll go back up to our dashboard for a second and take a look here. This is where we're going to see some of the real information. Now keep in mind that this is all out of the box stuff. This is not third party. So you could take a look and you could see dwell time. These are for MAC addresses that are connected and not connected as well, keeping in mind random beaconing and that sort of thing. But if a device is beaconing without the random beacon flag tag, then we can count them. And then we're going to see how long that they stay here for. And we can look, and again, it's interactive. So if we want to see who's been here greater than 6 hours, for example, we can take a look and we can find this information out. And here we have inside, engaged, bounced, and outside visitors. So there's two metrics here. Outside is based on signal level. So let's say we set it at neg 80. If you're less than neg 80, you're considered outside. These are people or devices that walk past your shop, for example. And then we have inside bounced, which is above that neg 80 threshold, which you can set. And then we have engaged, which means they're there longer than a specific period of time. So I'm inside, and I'm inside longer than, say, 1 minute, then I'm engaged. That means I'm a shopper. I'm in your store. I'm walking around. I didn't just stick my head in, and I didn't just walk by. We can get category information. So if you had multiple locations, you can set up categories within the floors, and you can get information on how those are responding as well. And then we have associates versus visitors, where we can create alarms, that sort of thing, based on I have one associate in the electronics aisle. If I have more than 10 visitors, then I need to send somebody else. And then we have our BLE tagging and configurations as well, which allows us to dynamically set these thresholds. These are majority of the typical use cases for location, but we can definitely go above and beyond that. And then we have our APIs and applications that we can go for third party. And that is our Essentials platform. So now that you've seen all that we have with the Essentials and our applications, now what you can see is that it's all kind of brought together. It's all in one place, and the pieces of the puzzle have now fit together. So you're getting your management out of your system, you're getting your ML, you're getting your AI, and all of your devices are being taken care of. But now we're moving above and beyond that by bringing in your security aspect with AirDefense. You're getting your access into guests, so you're getting much more advanced guest onboarding. You're getting your location analytics. You're getting management to IoT, and you're getting all of the analytics of that all wrapped up, included in IQ Pilot. So you're going to see these start to roll out, starting with AirDefense in September. If you're a Pilot subscriber, just keep checking because it's going to start showing up automatically, and then you can subscribe to that, and then you can start using Essentials. And that is our Essentials platform. Thank you.